Hi, everyone. Well, it is May 15, 2021. Wisconsin Senate approves water cremation for human use. The bill allows dead bodies to be dissolved with lye and then poured into the sewer. Well, 5 Catholic bishops are not too happy with this. But apparently 20 states have that law on their books. They call it alkaline hydrolysis, a process that uses water, lye, heat, and pressure to turn body tissue into a liquid slurry that is disposed into the sewer system. What remains are bones that are pulverized and returned to the family in an urn. Well, the heart, mind, flesh, and bones of a human person are all elements of a unique creation down to the DNA, which must be honored even after death. Wastewater does not honor the sacredness of the body, nor does it allow the grieving to honor the dead after disposition. Apparently, you can choose. You can choose cremation, you can choose alkaline hydrolysis. But this really shows how low this country has become. Turn your body into liquid slurry and then just put it into the sewer system, and the sewer systems all over are backing up. Due to, so much rain, the sewer system can't handle it. I want to read this. I'm only going to read an excerpt of Gary Barnett's article, "The Intentionally Planned Coming Cyber Pandemic Will Devastate This Country." Okay. Liberty is not for these slaves. I do not advocate inflicting it against their conscience. On the contrary, I am strongly in favor of letting them crawl and grovel all they please before whatever fraud or combination of frauds they choose to venerate. Our whole practical government is grounded in mob psychology, and the Bubis Americanus will follow any command that promises to make him safer. H.L. Mencken, that was written a long, long, long time ago. So, the American people have only grown more and more privileged, comfortable, and slave-like, to say the least. So Cyber Polygon, set to be held on July 9th, less than 2 months away. That's the World Economic Forum simulation of a cyber attack that may very well leave us without, let's see. It could certainly lead to mass interruption in internet and communication access, but the most direct threat will probably be due to energy grid shutdowns. Already there are stories in the news pre-announcing major blackouts in the western United States, similar to what was staged and horribly affected Texas this winter during an extreme cold front and snowstorm. All western states are already being warned by the CIA-controlled mainstream media with my home state of Montana, along with Idaho and Wyoming, being said to be at the most risk. Huh, I didn't know that. If anybody has any information on that, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana are said to be at the most risk. This is telling, as these are three of the less populated states in the country. So why would these states be more at risk than large population centers such as Colorado and the far west? My theory about this is that there would be less chance for local civil unrest and rioting if the blackouts occurred in less populated states that do not necessarily rely on air conditioning in order to stay safe. Much of the population in these states are not concerned with needing protection from the heat, so outages, while inconvenient and damaging, would not necessarily be life-threatening, but any major blackouts would certainly be used to frighten everyone else in the country. That's a possibility, though I think that if they induce these energy grid shutdowns, I think that they would be in cities to cause an awful lot of rioting. But, it's a wait and see. Isn't life grand? It's a wait and see. Let's see what the evil is going to be pulling next. Already seeing reports of cyber attacks falsely blamed on hackers seeking money, and of course blamed on Russia, as usual. But these are all most assuredly staged false flag events testing the waters for the major shutdowns coming later. And he's talking about the most recent, the pipeline hack attack, leaving an awful lot of people without gas. And apparently, there's an awful lot of stations still without gas. And the Colonial Pipeline started when? I guess Wednesday or Thursday? Well, expect other attacks that will affect supply lines nationwide concerning food, distribution, fuel delivery, medical supply delivery, building supply shortages, and the resulting interruption of all transportation modes that are vital in delivering life-sustaining goods across the country. I received a comment on my primary channel, which I can't post for 2 weeks because I got a community guidelines strike. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I received a comment from a subscriber who said she's unable to get any chicken feed in her area. They're out of chicken feed. And she's asked, local suppliers, well, when will you be getting it in? And they don't know. She asked, well, what's going on? They don't know. So supply chain disruptions are happening all over. All over. So if you can't get chicken feed for all the people who have chickens, what will that mean? If you can get chicken feed in your area, I suggest you stock up. So watch these World Economic Forum simulations very closely, as these are not done in order to prepare for unknown possible criminal or foreign cyber attacks in the future. They are done in order to condition the public for such attacks that they have already planned to conduct. This is a necessary exercise done to prepare the masses so that when the attacks happen, the people will believe that these staged simulations by the fascist government, health and corporate players were prescient and done for their benefit. This, of course, is asinine. And, anybody who has even just a little bit of awareness outside of their own delusional life of fantasy would recognize that that is true. Asinine. But, yeah, this population believes everything it is told and is easily fooled into accepting all propaganda coming from the controlling entities in government. This will not be the only threat. Over the next few months, you may be seeing multiple attempts to advance the globalist agendas. They may very well pull off false flags simultaneously. The agendas of an acceleration of economic destruction, agendas related to climate change, agendas related to dividing the American people even more, wealth transfer, monetary control, increased digital surveillance and tracking, transhuman development, depopulation, and more, all meant to gain total power and control over all of us. There is no time to rest. The coming months will see an escalation in the abuse of the common people and more tyrannical measures meant to solidify the state's position of power and control. The deeper the people fall into this bottomless abyss of state domination, the less chance of survival that exists. Mass resistance is imperative, and without it we face a living hell. Stand up against this monster, regain a love of life and family, reclaim your lost self-respect. Are you up to the task? Those who lack the courage will always find a philosophy to justify it. Albert Camus. We are in deep trouble. We are in deep trouble. And unfortunately, many are resting. So, Virginia Little League coaches forced to attend expensive anti-racist training. Okay, the anti-racist training, the critical race theory, it is cementing itself. Every single day, it gets stronger and stronger. We do have an awful lot of people, parents who are very, very upset about this, and they do whatever it is that they can to fight it, but they need the American people. They need more people. They need the American people to wake up to see what is taking place. This is Marxism. Coaches were asked to cancel any scheduled practices with the kids to attend the stupid online sports can battle racism seminar. I mean, sports had battled racism. Music and sports certainly were the first, right? No. Seminar. The cost? $1,000 to $10,000 for sessions. This is an industry that is growing, and people are making a fortune off of complete and utter dangerous nonsense. It includes 6 core themes, and it's being held by the Positive Coaching Alliance. The core themes: creating a caring climate, model anti-racist behavior. Coaches are encouraged to teach themselves to perceive their own internalized racism, because you know we're all racists, right? White people. Look for a potential institutional racism in the community. Coaches are also asked to be on the lookout for moments that they can use as racism learning opportunities. The organization also offers materials for student athletes that instructs them to assess their privilege. There is also an identity wheel that both athletes and coaches can use to increase awareness of how privilege operates, to normalize some identities over others. I am so disgusted with this country. So one parent said, this is Little League. Everyone plays in every game. This is a bunch of busybodies, virtue signaling. No, it's far worse. Far worse, far more dangerous than just busybodies. But the parent said, leave 10-year-olds alone. Yeah, I'd say that. Also, American Medical Association embraces critical race theory and rejects meritocracy. The Medical Association? Well, you can read this article. I will link below to everything. And indeed, they reject meritocracy. They're embracing critical race theory. Already hospitals are, and they've come out publicly and stated, that we will accept blacks and minority patients over white patients. So all this is doing is creating, well, it's inflaming racism. And it's not reverse racism. It is racism. But now it's white people. And all of us are racists. All of us. The commonly held narrative of meritocracy is the idea that people are successful purely because of their individual effort. This is what the AMA is stating. Medical education has largely been based on such flawed ideals. Really? Flawed. And it will take intentional focus and effort to recognize, review, and revise this deeply flawed interpretation. The AMA suggests medical schools should incorporate into their programs critical race theory, an offshoot of Marxism. So that's what the AMA said, and this is what the author of the article is saying. It is an offshoot of Marxism that views society through the lens of a power struggle between the race of oppressors and that of the oppressed. See, Marx, that was it was a struggle between the working class and the bourgeoisie, but it was a little difficult to do that in a country that had so many different classes, economically speaking. But race has always been an issue, even though things were getting so much better over time. Man, this country came so far away from what I actually witnessed as a little kid growing up, 60s. And now we're being socially engineered backwards. Yeah. AMA states expand medical school and physician education to include equity, anti-racism, structural competency, public health and social sciences, critical race theory, and historical basis of disease. Equity meaning what? Every doctor has the exact same skill. No one better than the other. That's pretty scary. So let's listen to this. It's really interesting. to see how many from, well, just to simplify, those on the left coming over to the right, because the left have abandoned them because they seem to be speaking the truth. So the left media don't want to hear from them anymore. Wow. My gut tells me that this summer is going to be very violent, very violent. And the left is going to come after the right. Now, you put that into this, binary, dichotomous frame: left, right, Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal. Well, the frame that is in my head is truth versus lie. Those who tell the truth, and it doesn't matter what color your skin is, they will not protect you because you happen to be black or Hispanic or whatever. Anyone who is speaking the truth is a target. So they're going to go after an awful lot of those targets. And yes, I do see a acceleration of all of the agendas that, well, it's worrying, it's concerning, and it's become so obvious that it's really, I've been having a hard time. I know that we got to this very day because the American people have not been who they have claimed to be. And it is essential that the most important truth is the truth of your own self. And if you're not looking into that, any other truth doesn't matter. But if you're not looking into that, you are easily deceived. There are so many things happening, but they are pitting Americans against Americans. And it's unfortunate that because they are so messed up in the head, their psyches, their psychology, their immaturity, it's just easier to fight. Yeah, and the other factor is that this is the majority. This is the majority of Americans. So they have all of the support they need to tell each other how fabulous they are when nothing could be further from the truth. Is it easy to get a Stasi state creation here in the United States? Yes. Absolutely 100%. The American cyber Stasi will suppress all digital dissent in Biden's dystopia. And the loss of our free speech is really hard to take. So CNN's recent report that the United States security services are considering contracting the services of so-called researchers as a legal workaround for spying on average Americans confirms that Biden's dystopian hellhole is rapidly moving in the direction of establishing a cyber Stasi for suppressing all digital dissent against the Democrats as they continue to consolidate their de facto one-party rule of the country. Remember, Biden, just a couple of weeks ago, was asked by a reporter. Now, all questions are approved of beforehand. So that's very important to get. These questions, they're approved of. I don't know, maybe a reporter with courage might be able to land a question in that throws Psaki, into her circle back frenzy. But a reporter asked him about the 2024 election if he was going to run. He's only been in office for a couple of months. They're already asking if, well, that's the American way as well. You know, you have a couple of months and then they're campaigning again. Anyway, if he was going to run again. Well, Biden is as Biden is. He just went on and on. But at one point he said, and I don't even know if there's going to be a Republican Party. I don't know if there's going to be a Republican Party in 2024. A U.S. president Democrat says, I don't know if there's going to be a Republican Party in 2024, which means I don't have to run. Okay, the American people, hello, knock, knock, knock on your skull. Are you awake in there? Is anybody home? And now they're going after Republicans, conservatives. The cyber Stasi. Well, the cyber Stasi is definitely going after conservatives and Trump supporters and the right-wing extremists, right? Now, years ago, I posted, I don't know how many videos, telling Trump supporters, get rid of everything that identifies you as a Trump supporter because they're going after you. And look, the American people, the Democrats, most of them will love it. That's how sick and twisted we are as a people. The U.S. security services essentially want to establish a cyber Stasi of fellow citizens who spy on one another and produce purported evidence handed over to the FBI for legal investigations. Evidence of potential crimes for justifying legal investigations. And the American people will be right there. Oh, wow. Aren't I important? I'm going to scour the internet and look for anyone I can turn over. Stasi America. And the American people obviously want it. They want it. They want it. Immature people do not know how to handle freedom. So they'd rather be just told what to do. It's a very upsetting time. So, just prepare for what's going to be coming in the next, by the end of 2021. Stay out of crowds. Don't join any protests. Mobs are very frightening. They lose their own sense of restraint. We're going to see a lot of destruction. And for those of you who are alone, if you have any magic way of keeping yourself up during this time, please let us know in the comments section. Thanks.